Welcome, my name is Like It's 1985, and today we are going to take a look at the Transformers Constructabots Elite Class Wheeljack. And the Constructabot line, of course, is a line of figures that you actually build yourself. They're smaller parts, you build them into a robot mode, and from the robot mode it actually can transform into a vehicle mode. So basically the way that the parts connect are via ball and socket joints, C-clip joints, as well as peg and peg hole joints. So let's first take a look at a size comparison, because this is actually quite a large figure here in robot mode. And to illustrate that, let me bring in Deluxe Class Wheeljack from the Transformers Prime line. And you can clearly see that Deluxe Class Wheeljack is definitely smaller than the Constructabot Wheeljack. So let me also bring in a Voyager class figure. So really, Constructabot Wheeljack here really is more of a Voyager class size figure, especially here in robot mode. So I really do like that. You really feel like you're getting a lot of value because of the size of the robot mode. So next, let's go ahead and focus and look at Wheeljack here in detail. In particular, I will draw your attention to the head sculpt, which is fantastic, really nice. Lots of nice sculpt, lots of nice paint. On the chest here, Autobot symbol, you got some color here on the chest, and as well as these green bits here, the missiles over his shoulder. And this line of Constructabots has often been compared to the Bionicle or the Lego Hero Factory toy line, in the fact that it's built on a frame, and as you can see in the back, the frame is exposed. So there is that. I suppose that's a negative, that the frame here is exposed, but that's pretty much how it is like with the Bionicle and the Lego Hero Factory toys as well. But the added bonus for this particular line of figures, the Constructabots, is the fact that you can actually transform this figure from robot into vehicle mode. So with that said, let's go ahead and look at articulation. Looking at the back here, you do have these missiles here. There's 2 points of articulation. You can see there's a C-clip right there attached to his shoulder joint. So this goes all the way around, and then you have articulation up here like that. So you can get some nice poses out of the missile launchers there. The actual head, as you can see, is on a ball joint. And you do have a C-clip right here, so you do have at the base of the neck you have articulation, and then you have a ball joint at the base of the head. Shoulders on a ball joint, so you have articulation there. You do have a C-clip type of joint here for a 90-degree bend. You do have a joint here that connects the wrist to the forearm. Again, that's a C-clip. And then you have the actual hand itself on a ball joint, as you can see right there. There is no waist articulation, however there is plenty of leg articulation with the ball joints here at the hips. And one thing about the ball joints is the ball joints are coated with almost like a rubberized type of material, not a smooth plastic. What that means is you get a lot of friction, so there's not a lot of loose joints. In fact, it's more on the stiff side, so that's a good thing in my mind. You have a C-clip joint here, bend about 90 degrees, and then you have a ankle connected to the lower leg via a C-clip, and then you have the ball joint ankles. And on the side of the arm are attached the wheel here and the spoiler assembly. You do have articulation here, up and down, around like that, as well as like this. So you can actually display the arms like this if you want to, or this can go around all the way to the back, whatever you want, or out to the side. So you do have a range of options of posability or displayability here on the side of the arm with these attachments. And Wheeljack does come with this gun accessory. You can see there's a peg here, a C-clip there, and a peg hole there, but really cool. You can see there the barrel has some detail in there. Of course, you can plug it into the fist like usual. You could, I suppose, plug it into like this port here on the forearm if you wanted to. So there's a lot of different possibilities for actually displaying the weapon. You could even take off one of these shoulder-mounted missiles and plug it in here if you wanted to. And I suppose you could actually store it anywhere there's a peg hole or a C-clip. So there is that option with this weapon. So pretty cool. So next up, we're going to take a look at the transformation. So the first thing you want to do is take the chest here, unpeg it, like that. You'll notice there's a little cavity here. You want to rotate the head in there, like that. Next, go ahead and rotate these missiles back. Go ahead and bring this section up here, like that. Coming to the back here, what you want to do with the waist section is you actually want to bring this joint up like this, rotate 180, and then what you want to do is actually connect the peg hole here at the top of his lower leg to the peg here. So looking at it like this, you may have to maneuver the crotch joint there around such that you can actually line up the peg and the peg hole like that, and kind of push this back in this case to get the other peg and peg hole to line up as well. It takes a little bit of maneuvering, but once you got it, you can see it does lock into place like that. So it should look like that now. So keep in mind that this will be the front of the vehicle. Now coming down here to the feet, what you need to do with the feet actually is you want to rotate them around like this and like this. And these are actually designed to come together and form like the front fender, if you will, of the vehicle mode. Like that, and then you kind of want to adjust this somewhat as well. So now you have the front looking like that. So looking at what were the arms for the robot mode, there actually is a peg here. This peg needs to go into this peg hole right here. So you want to basically line that up and get that pegged into place. Same thing, of course, on the other side. And you want to rotate these green shoulder armor here. Rotate these around like that. So now we're looking at the back of the vehicle mode. Go ahead and bring up the hands here. Rotate them up like that. And they will be positioned just like that for the vehicle mode. Next, go ahead and rotate up this section like that. Same thing over here. So now you have the rear wheels taken care of, along with the spoiler, as you can see there. And then you want to just adjust these somewhat like that. And you want to take the Autobot symbol here, unplug it from the top of the vehicle, and plug it into the front. So now you have the Autobot symbol facing forward in vehicle mode. Something like that. And here is Wheeljack in vehicle form, and I have to say I do like this form. I like the design because it reminds me a lot of a cross between a go-kart, a race car, and a dune buggy. So let's take a little 360 look at it here. Pretty cool. It does roll really well. All four wheels are rolling just fine. No problem there. Because they're on joints, you can adjust this front spoiler if you want to. In fact, you may need to just to make sure you have enough clearance so that the wheels can spin as opposed to being not spinning at the front. You do have the articulation here to pose the missiles, the weapons. Pretty cool. The only kind of drawback I see is there's nothing really connecting these wheels from rotating around. They're kind of like just on a peg and a peg hole. So these, you know, with rough play, they will move around, but for the most part, they do stay in place. You do have some options here to have this pose like this, if you want to. So it's more like a rear bumper that you would see on a go-kart, perhaps. So there is that posability there. These are on just a peg in a peg hole system, so you can rotate these around as you desire, but this is the official way to actually have them positioned. Taking a look at the undercarriage, you can see the frame here. Very interesting, and you can see that there's Wheeljack's head there. So all in all, a pretty nice vehicle mode. That's one of the reasons why I decided to pick up this particular one, because I did like the vehicle mode here with the design element of a race car, go-kart, and a dune buggy all in one. So pretty cool. Now as far as mounting the gun, there actually is a central peg hole here, which you can certainly plug it in there if you wanted to, which makes sense. But really, you can plug it anywhere there is a peg hole or a C-clip, so you could stack them up like this for that type of effect. I mean, really, if you wanted to, you can mount it just about anywhere. There's a peg hole here, and there's a peg hole here in the spoiler. Not that it would make much sense, but you know, you can do it. And of course, anywhere there's a C-clip joint, you can clip it on there somewhere. If you can find a location, like for example here, you could actually clip it on there as well. So there's options to store the weapon. Of course, it makes most sense here on the top of the roof there. So size comparison, let's take a look at him compared to a deluxe class figure from Revenge of the Fallen. Of course, this is the Sideswipe / Swerve mold, and you can see this figure here is definitely bigger than a deluxe class. Even the old deluxe class from the movie line is smaller. So pretty good size for this vehicle mode. Okay, so before I wrap up the review, let me go ahead and show you the packaging that Wheeljack comes in. I do like the design here. A nice big picture of robot mode. A smaller picture here of the vehicle mode. It gives you the part count here. A look up top, on the side here, the other side, and finally the back. So cool display here in the back. I do like that. Shows you all the different parts that comprise the figure. And once you open up the packaging here, you get a nice plastic tray. Pretty durable. And what's cool here is you got the Autobot symbol here that's molded into the plastic. Really nice. Really durable tray. Open it up, and inside you'll have the bags of the parts. Here you have a smaller tray displaying some of the parts that make up the figure. So really cool. And I suppose you could also put other things in here, like maybe accessories for different Transformers figures. Maybe you can put some mini-cons in here. So really nice to have the storage as part of the set here. Really cool. So final thoughts on this figure. I do like the fact that you can actually build the figure, that it transforms. That's awesome. The joints are nice and stiff. There's really not a whole lot of issues there. The only issues I ran into with the joint coming loose is the pelvic area there. Sometimes that will come loose just when you're transforming it or fiddling around with the posability of the figure, but most of the time it stays in that recessed area. Most of the time it's not a problem. Really like the design of this Wheeljack figure. It definitely looks like a sort of a Generation 1 inspired figure with the green colors and the reds and the way that the head sculpt looks, and the fact that it transforms into a race car type of vehicle mode. So that's really cool. So while I don't like all of the Constructibot line, this one actually is pretty neat and does offer a lot of posability, of course, with those different joints. Alright, well this has been my review of the Transformers Constructibots Elite Class Wheeljack. Thanks for watching.